After exploring Cuba's legendary capital in depth, it's time we head to the Cuban countryside to learn more about Cuban folklore and rural culture, and a life that's drastically different from the big city of Havana. Before we go, we need to learn what a Cuban guajiro is. Guajiros are rural peasants or small farmers who traditionally live and work in the countryside, especially in central and eastern provinces of Cuba. The term has evolved over time, and its historic origins are deeply tied to the island's colonial and post-colonial development. During the Spanish colonial period between the 16th and the 19th century, much of Cuba's rural economy was based on tobacco and sugarcane plantations. The countryside was populated by Spanish settlers, especially from the Canary Islands, who became small landowners. It was also populated by African slaves and former African slaves who remained in the rural areas after emancipation. The Guajiro farmer primarily descended from these Canary Island immigrants, which fascinates me because the Canary Island connection with Cuba and Venezuela are both very alive and well today.
Mi abuelo, el padre de mi padre, viajó 3 veces a Cuba. En el Barbanera ese que después más tarde se hundió. Cortaba caña allá y tenía 20 o 30 o 40 obreros y mi abuela iba a hacer la comida a todos los obreros, personal.
And while Latin American immigrants have fled to the US and Spain in the 21st century, it wasn't always that way. Peninsular Spaniards and Canary Islanders were fleeing Spain for centuries to a wealthier and more opportunistic land, a land called Cuba. The Canary Islanders, known as Isleños in Spanish, although under Spanish control, suffered from overpopulation, geographic isolation, poverty, and limited amounts of fertile land. The hunger was immense, and these harsh conditions pushed tens of thousands to seek better opportunities, especially in Cuba, Puerto Rico, and Venezuela. Spain also actively promoted the settlement of white Catholic Spaniards in colonies to counterbalance the large African and mixed-race populations, fearing slave rebellions like seen in Haiti. After the 1959 Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro often referred to himself as a guajiro, highlighting his rural roots in the Sierra Maestra and aligning the revolutionary movement with the peasants. In fact, Castro's father was a Galician Spanish immigrant himself and a veteran in the Spanish-American War. Even after Cuba became independent, he decided to stay in Cuba because opportunities were much better than an early 20th century Galicia. Land reforms redistributed estates to guajiros and small farmers, reinforcing their role in the revolutionary mythology. At the time, the agrarian landform seemed to have been a good thing for peasants as they acquired access to education and healthcare, something not present before Castro. But in 2025, it's safe to say that guajiros, although perfectly capable of being self-sufficient, are essentially enslaved to a predatory and controlled market where they are forced to sell the vast majority of their crops to the government at a fixed rate. That is the reality of rural Cuba in 2025, and it only gets worse as you head east of Havana. So let's head to Vinales, Cuba's famous ecotourism region, and get a preview of what the countryside is like. We finally left the big city of Havana, and now we're in rural Cuba. I'm really excited to show you guys what life is like here in the countryside. In fact, here we have a little finca. We have a lot of horses here. They look very skinny, very, I don't know, poorly fed, but there's plenty of grass to eat. So I don't know, but yeah, this is crazy. This is awesome. This is a dream, you guys. And I'm so glad you're here with me to share it. So we're going to a special place today. We're gonna catch our shared taxi with other tourists, $25. And it's much more convenient than the bus. So let's go. You guys, I got someone here from, believe it or not, Melilla, Spain. Eres de Melilla.
Sí. ¿Qué te iba a decir? ¿Tú trabajas en la televisión?
Más o menos.
Eres bueno.
Más o menos. Yeah, but you guys remember I did that video on the immigration, on the most fortified border wall, land border in Europe, which is actually in Africa. He's from there, look at this. Melilla. Un español de verdad. Pero también te gusta Cuba.
Esto es ron legendario.
Ajá.
No, pero tengo todo.
All right. So we've stopped off and we're gonna see some Cubans eat some barbecue. Barbacoa. Sándwich cubano. Aquí los cerdos son cerdos ibéricos. ¿O qué sabrás? Cerdos negros.
Sí.
Ah.
El negro, blanco, amarillo, dos colores. El que parezca que coger.
Gracias, señor. Let's try it.
like a pulled pork. Wow, that's good. So far, the Cuban food has been pretty damn good. As we say in Spanish, no soy tiki-smiki. This is the taxi. All right, I'm here. Yeah, guys, this is really messed up. Not the most comfortable ride. This is brutal. Brutal ride.
En España, pipí fino.
Hola, jefe.
¿Cómo está la cosa?
Bien.
Bien. Dime, hombre, ¿cómo anda?
Ah, el hombre.
¿Tú lo conoces?
Estaba esperando.
Wilfredo, el guajiro.
El guajiro natural. Puro montañés.
Guys, welcome to Vinales. It's a farming tourist town, but our friend here is a guajiro, a war hero, a farmer.
Guajiro natural.
That's it. You can tell by the hat. I don't know him, but I was recommended by a YouTuber here from Cuba who doesn't live here anymore. So he told me he's a good guy. And I don't have a reservation, so we're just gonna trust him to give me a place to stay today. That's how things work in Cuba. Wow.
Hola, buenos días.
Buenos dias. Buenos dias. This is gonna be a treat. We are blessed.
Se ha acabado la electricidad.
No pasa nada. Estoy en Cuba y me acostumbro.
Ok. Y esas ventanas pueden abrirlas.
Para dormir por la
Sí,
noche.
sí, sí.
Okay, beautiful.
Todo está tranquilo.
Gente del campo, gente de buen corazón, no tienen la misma mentalidad que en La Habana. Ahí fajado.
So he was telling me here that Vinales, the town is around 7,000 people. I'm sure it's changed over the years, big time. But it has the authenticity, yet even though it's a tourist place, it's still authentic. We're lucky because we got probably one of the most authentic guys who knows everyone. He reminds me of the rural people in Costa Rica. Me recuerdas a mi familia en Costa Rica.
Sí,
La gente del campo en Costa Rica.
sí. Pero aquí la gente, toda gente buena.
Sí.
Y aquí la gente, siempre hay sus cosas, pero son personas de buen corazón. Un guajiro, otra mentalidad y otra cultura. La Habana son pillos de que tienen siempre tratar de que te pueden robar. ¿Entiendes?
Aprovechar.
Aprovecharte. Sí, aquí no, aquí son gente de mejor corazón.
Okay, guys, here we are.
Es mi hijo.
This is his son, Wilfredo's son. Hola, bro. ¿Cómo estás?
Michelle,
Michel.
el nombre es Michelle,
Y Michel, ¿cuántos años tienes?
23.
23. Un muchachito. All right, so this is the form of transport. Hey! ¿Cómo se llama?
Paloma y mulato.
Pero vamos a aprender.
Sí, sí, claro. Y además ese caballo viene detrás de mí, muy bien ahí detrás de mí, que no se echa a correr ni nada. Debe ponerme ver mis espuelas porque yo sin esto no puedo estar.
All right, these are spurs. Ah, ¿cómo se llaman estos?
Espuelas.
Espulas.
Espuelas.
Espuelas. Look at that. Just like como un vaquero, como tú has dicho.
Claro.
All right, guys, so this is right, left, pulling it towards me is stop. I did this in Costa Rica when I was really drunk once at a parade of horses, a cabalgata, something like that. I only filmed it on my Spanish channel. Would have been a great video. And here we go, Wilfredo. Whoa. All right. So since they're trained together.
Siempre ahí detrás de mí,
Okay.
no pase al frente. Oh.
Oh yeah, boy. Hey. All right. Yeah, this is awesome, man. These horses are great. Wow, man, this is a dream. Wow, man, look at some of these houses. We're gonna cross the bridge here. Wow. Check it out. Hola. Okay, so you see that? We get over to the side. Oh. And like that. Intuition. And the horses also know. They're like a vehicle as well, you know? I'm just the gas and the steering wheel. Wow, look at this tree. Oh, oh, oh. Oh. Wow, look at it, man. Look at the countryside. Oh, jeez. Man. I can't believe this place was closed off for 60 years. Look at this. So we see a cornfield here, and typically they used to plant beans underneath it. So they would pick the beans first and then the corn. And the town had a lot to eat. I certainly don't know with government restrictions how much product farmers can sell. I don't know how that works. I know it's controlled, and I know it's not easy to like make a good living off of it. You know, you're just getting by. But people always have their little gardens, that's for sure. So over there, that field has got yuca, which is a root that we eat in Latin America. It's like a starchy potato. You fry it, put it in soups, and then sweet potato. And an old farm there, an old... Tauro roots. Raíz de tauro. Tauro roots. Malanga. Which is...
Cuba es la patata más cara de Cuba.
Sí.
De que tú plantas a que vas a comerla un año. Y se necesita plantarla en los lugares de que tengan las tierras más fértiles. ¿Me entiendes?
Entonces la tierra más fértil, más cara.
Sí. Y si la tierra más fértil necesita para la malanga.
Y el proceso de sembrar es un año. Hasta
año.
Que lo siembras y llega a la boca.
De que tú lo plantas a que vas a comer mínimo un año. Tiene la plantación de tabaco.
Tabaco.
Está pequeña ahora porque solamente tiene, esta aquí tiene solamente un mes de plantación. En esta parte lo que es el Parque Nacional de Vinales, lo que es aquí el Valle del Silencio, el Valle del Palmarito, todo, la agricultura es manual. No se trabajan con tractores, se trabaja con bueyes, con cao. Y lo otro es que no se puede aplicar ni químicas ni pesticidas, porque Vinales pertenece a lo que es Patrimonio Nacional de la UNESCO, y también Vinales es Geoparque Mundial. No se puede aplicar químicas en nada en los campos. Todo eso es orgánico. ¿Me entiendes? Por eso es que si Vinales va guardando la estructura de lo que es Vinales, si no es por eso, en Vinales pierde la estructura y se acaba el turismo en Vinales.
I mean, so yeah, the tobacco looks nice. I'm not a tobacco expert, but this corn is dry. It's been picked, but it doesn't look like corn in Wisconsin. My God, corn in Iowa, Wisconsin. This is different. Regardless, this is history. Be careful. Lean back. Steady, sturdy. Oh. 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 Hey!
Hey. Ese no era yegua.
¿De quién era ese? Ahí tú lo conoces.
Ese era el del hijo Leoni. Lo tenía Eliezer para vuelta allá.
No, Eliezer. Y este lo tenía aquí en el Palmarito.
Sí.
Para tomar agua para los caballos aquí.
Sí, sí.
El hueco de regar, el hueco de tomar.
Sí, sí.
A suego yo. I'm speaking like an Andalusian peasant. Yo, ¿qué paja? Amo, yo. Wow. Guys, let me know in the comments. Are you liking this video? It's a lot more slow, a lot less chaotic than Havana, but a different style and something I've always wanted to do. Countryside exploring. Sweet potatoes here, boñato. And you can see the earth is different color here. It's like clayish. So just within a few meters, the earth, the soil changes.
Pero Vinales, obtener la estructura de Vinales Vinales es una tierra que tú puedes plantar todo el año.
Yeah.
En la época de la lluvia se planta en los lugares más altos. En las épocas de menos lluvia se planta en las tierras más bajas.
They're climbing up here. Oh yeah. The horse really knows how to go. I mean, I feel like I'm gonna fall off the edge here, but the horse is doing a great job. So he's been doing this, Wilfredo, he's been doing this for 20 years. And he says it's been the best time of his life because he raised 5 kids doing this.
Después te voy a pedir un favor.
Dime.
Yo estoy en internet.
Sí. ¿Que pongo tu contacto?
Y estoy en Google.
Claro.
Y me hacía falta ver si de esos videos que tú...
Claro que sí, claro que sí. Voy a poner tu...
Puedes hacer un comentario, una reseña.
Hombre, tú vas a salir viral.
Y después puedes poner esos videos que tú pones, yo haciendo explicaciones, y más puedes ponerme, por ejemplo, el video de la finca de tabaco y esas cosas.
100%.
Para que me des más publicidad.
Esto va a llegar a los Estados Unidos.
Te lo voy a agradecer muchísimo.
Nosotros estamos colaborando. Tú me ayudas, yo te ayudo.
Porque eso para mí es muy importante. Y usted, bendiciones. Gracias, hermano. ¿Cómo está la cosa, hermano? La cosa está mala, no está buena nada. Mira, ¿sabes cómo jodió Moro? ¿Y el de abajo? Moro tuyo. Es grande y eso. ¿Me esforzó? Con comida. Yo mandé a muchachito mío que le echara comida y le dije, sácame medio saco de yuca. Y darle 4 pilas a los caballos. Y le echó una sola pila y el caballo le tira todo. Y se la metió entera. Y me nació con un cólico el otro día. Y lo saqué del cólico. Y ahora está largando los cascos. Parece un gato. Se murió. Sí, ahora se. Y fue en los días del catuno pinga ahí no pude moverme ni para ningún lado. Sí, pero ya que todo se fue, ya puede... Papi, pero se está muriendo, ¿yo?
Their accent is hilarious.
Debe tener 50...
Uy.
Hola, amigo. 50 libras de tener. Esa es la habitación garantizada.
Yeah.
Y cuando tú llegas ahí, ¿dónde está Wilfredo? Wilfredo
Sí,
no existe.
tú me esperaste.
¿Entiendes?
An expression here they use, and I've heard this in Spain before.
Plantación de café.
There's coffee plants there. Is a bull without horns is not a bull, and a man that doesn't stand by his word is not a man. And so he was saying, we scheduled to meet up here, and he told me he'd meet me at the bank. And of course, when you make plans like this traveling, you have to follow through. And that's how these people are here. There are people that give their word. All right, so we have some pine trees here. Hay pinos.
Sí.
¿Qué cambio? Wow, look at the change in geography. Looks like we're in northern Minnesota or something, or Florida. And these are wonderful horses. Wunderbar, great horses, really good horses. You speak English a little bit? ¿Qué estabas diciendo? Que you speak English?
My English is no good English. My Spanglish is good.
Yeah.
My English so.
The horses are really well trained, which I can attest. Very easy, very tame. So you've done excursions. Has hecho excursiones con niños.
Con niños, con personas mayores. Lo mismo hago excursiones a caballo, que hago excursiones caminando, que hago excursiones cuando hay personas que no tienen experiencia de caballo, le puedo guiar el caballo, se lo porto. Y también hago excursiones cuando hay personas muy mayores con coches de
Carruzo.
Yes.
Carriages. So yeah, he's saying he's like a stallion. He has lots of energy. Mucha energía. Eres un...
Soy viudo.
Hola. Buenas.
Sí.
Buenas, muchacha.
Mucho gusto.
Elliot.
Janet.
Hola, muchacha. Wilfredo. Linda.
El gusto es tuyo.
Gracias.
Ah, ya se conocen, ¿a que sí?
Sí, claro.
Ah, bueno.
Somos medio familia.
Sí.
Mentira.
Sí, su mamá, su abuela y mi madre son primos.
Mentira.
Sí. Es una desgracia tenerla en la familia, pero bueno, la familia no se escoge, es la que te toca.
It's really windy here, you guys.
Gracias, mi hermano.
Salud. We're gonna have a beer.
Y strong canut. Salud y strong canut. Como dicen los españoles.
Oh, eres un guarro, eh? Oh, what a mess. Coño. Yo he estado tomando cristal todos los días.
Sí. Esta es la
No
mejor.
he estado comiendo, solo tomando cerveza.
Pero esta es la mejor cerveza que se toma en Cuba.
Sí.
Para mí, como la cristal no es cerveza. Me gusta la cristal y me gusta la Mayave.
So we've been talking, and COVID here absolutely annihilated Cuba. I mean, it annihilated everywhere, but you can imagine here. There was more control. They couldn't leave the house for a year, they said. Absolutely brutal. Spain was rough as well, but we have a welfare state. The United States as well. And in the United States, in many places, people refuse to wear masks and you can still go outside. And you have all this nature here. These Cubans couldn't go outside during COVID for the first year. I don't know what it was like after, but yeah, they took a massive hit. And he said before COVID, business was booming. It was booming in Cuba. Another thing they told me was that 5 years ago, just before COVID, there was a meteorite fallout here. And all the tourists from around the world, Russians, Americans, Europeans, they came here and they bought the rock that fell. They told me that someone sold the rock that they collected, the size of a fist, for $5,000. No one died, no animals died, but yeah, there was a fallout here. Middle of the day, it sounded like an explosion. People thought it was a plane crash. Imagine you're just out here tending to your farm and rocks just start flying everywhere in the middle of the day. You probably thought it was an attack from the United States. A terrorist attack from the Yankees. ¿Qué es la parte favorita tuya de ser guajiro?
La parte favorita mía de ser guajiro, lo que más me gusta son los animales. ¿Me entiendes? Los animales, y lo otro lo que me gusta mucho es la comunicación con las personas.
Sí.
Lo que más me estimula a mí como guajiro. Y lo otro que me gusta mucho como guajiro, que me gusta mucho las mujeres.
Como Vicente Fernández de México.
Tener una mujer que me quiera como hombre, no que me vea como que soy un banco de dinero.
¿Te viene bien una gringa entonces?
Me viene bien de donde sea, pero que me quiera.
Okay, so we're here. The horses are gonna rest a little bit. We have some cows here, unos bueyes para trabajar, no? And Jose is gonna show me a special cave here. ¿Qué importancia tiene la cueva?
Acá vamos a ver la miel, honey, en la cueva.
Wow, es como entramos a otro planeta aquí.
Entramos por esta parte del valle y salimos a otro valle diferente.
Okay.
Diferente. Esa es la miel.
Ah, está arriba ahí.
Sí, arriba.
¿Y cómo lo agarras?
Esa es un poco complicado. Normalmente esa no se castra, se castran otras colmenas que están un poco más asequibles. Porque si ves todo lo que hay al lado, lo que cuelga las rocas son panales de avispa también, ¿ves?
Uh-huh. Nidos.
Nidos de avispa.
So we have bee nests up here. And I'm not exactly sure how they get them down, but for some reason this is a little microclimate where they come and have honey.
Normalmente ella tiene agua, pero solo en el verano. Ahora estamos en el invierno, o sea, va a empezar el verano ahora. Todavía no ha llegado la época de lluvia. La época de lluvia es en julio, agosto. Ten cuidado que pasa. En el verano todo esto se llena de agua, ¿eh?
Qué fresquito. Oh, it's nice and
Aire
cool.
acondicionado.
Aire acondicionado, eh?
Natural.
Wow. And it's fresh and clean. There's no trash here. Podemos perdernos aquí, ¿a que sí?
Ah, que sí. Este es el panal de la avispa, que es como un papel, ¿ves?
Ajá.
Y este es el panal de la miel, que es más fuerte. Más duro. Ahora voy a usar el celular, el teléfono, con la luz. ¡Vamos!
Oh, wow. Oh, espera.
Sí, sí.
Okay, guys, it's really skinny. I barely fit. I barely fit. Oh.
Cuidado acá la cabeza, ¿ok?
Oh, I don't know if you guys can see much.
Acá.
Oh, Dios mío.
Cuidado. Esta cosa es natural. Aquí, esta la ha hecho el agua.
Ajá.
Cuando llueve, es un río acá.
Tras miles de años.
Solo el agua. Y solo se llena de agua en la época de lluvia. Ahora, cuando llueve, no agua. Cuidado acá.
Cristal.
Esto es calcio.
Calcium. This is calcium.
Se está altita, ¿ok?
Mm-hmm.
Para hacer música natural. Música.
We're actually quite deep in the cave now, and we've been going along here. Apparently we're gonna come out on another side, and yeah, if you're not careful, you'll hit your head, crack your skull open here. But now it's getting open. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. Ah, vale.
La otra parte acá.
Oye, una pregunta. ¿Has tenido turistas con mucho miedo?
Algunos sí.
You must, ¿no?
Yuma, turista.
Sí. Y here we are,
Esta es la otra parte.
en la selva, de vuelta a la selva. Dicen, no hay luz, no hay corriente, pero
No hay
sí,
corriente.
hay mucha luz.
Hay mucha luz.
Hay mucha luz aquí.
Tractor de Cuba.
Tractor. So this is the modern tractor, you guys, in Cuba. Buey. In Spanish, they're called buey.
Este le llamamos toro.
Ah, eso es toro.
Toro es diferente.
Porque es
Buey-
macho.
Buey cuando está castrado. Y toro no está castrado.
Tiene mucho testosterona.
Sí.
So did you guys know before baseball in Cuba, bullfighting was a quite popular sport? Wow. But just look at this panorama here. The mogotes, the mountains in the back, the buey, spectacular. You guys, it's crazy. For so many years, I've been looking for farmers in Spain on my hikes, but I never find these authentic farmers like this. Hey. Check this out. These are Cuban tomatoes. Oh. Esto es un proceso de un mes. ¿Cuántos meses?
Normalmente 3 meses. Normalmente el tomate en Cuba se planta en el invierno.
Ok.
Principios de octubre, noviembre más o menos que se planta tomate y ya para este tiempo ya se recolecta. Normalmente este ya, si lo ves, ya las matas están secas, está todo marchito, ya es la última recolecta que se va a hacer y ya después ya.
Sí, porque hace falta lluvia.
Ajá. Normalmente en Cuba en el verano no se puede plantar muchas verduras. Sobre todo tomate y eso en el verano no se planta porque es mucha lluvia y demasiado sol.
Mhm.
Solo se planta en el invierno.
We're talking and it's just bloody hot out here. It's April. They've had a lot of droughts here, which is typical, right, at this time of year, but it's brutal to be working out here in the afternoon heat. It's interesting because, right, the Spanish came here and it's like they found the same climate, the hot siesta climate. The siesta is a result of the heat patterns, the weather, right? Not because people are lazy. Well, same thing here, you know, people are so hot, so they gotta work in the morning, early morning. It's just interesting to see those parallels. Wow. Whoa. We almost fell in the water there. Oh my God, man. This is like, I feel like we're pioneering right now, even though we're not. Millions of people have done this before. Oh, feet are getting wet. Come on.
Ahora subiendo, me deja la fiesta un poco más larga. No tan corta, un poquito más larga.
Entiendo.
¿Me entiendes?
Ya.
No tan cortita, más larga.
Oh.
¿Me entiendes? Aguántate y déjalo que vaya por donde
Vale.
No le tire, no le tire, no le tire.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Es la reina de la aquí.
Este tiempo los caballos beben mucha agua.
Sí.
Es la gasolina especial de ellos.
¿Ves?
Quiero.
Vamos a preparar esta señora que hay aquí, que la conoce la mayoría de las personas.
Máquina de italiano.
La moca italiana.
These are the seeds for tobacco plant. They came from this pod here. Son muchos, eh?
Ya.
Loboto.
Sí, sí.
So Chino here, you've been working with tourists for how many years?
Maybe 10 years.
10 years?
10 years.
And you learned English in school a little bit, but mostly practicing with tourists like this.
It's more better practice with tourists every day.
Yeah. And so you dedicate yourself towards, well, apart from tourism, you're what you call a guajiro, a campesino,
Yeah.
a country peasant in English, but that sounds strange. No, he's just a hardworking man.
Yeah.
And you do rum with,
Rum, tobacco, honey, and coffee.
yeah, and coffee. And now we're gonna see the tobacco, which is what everyone comes to Cuba for,
Yeah,
the tobacco.
Every people coming from Cuba for tobacco, because now in this moment you're staying the best ground for tobacco in all the world in the Rio province.
And wow, this is your backyard. Many American tourists or mostly European, Canadian?
Canadian people is for normally we go straight to Varadero for sun and beach. From Vinales, American and European tourists. Okay, because it's tourists from forest for excursion.
I've never seen a tobacco plant before. Ooh, it has a nice smell.
Okay. Ahora, como te decía,
And it's sticky, it's pegosa.
yeah, because this is quality for tobacco seed, for tobacco leaf.
Yeah.
Okay.
The earth has lots of minerals that are very acidic or low in pH, and therefore the leaves become dehydrated and they have more nicotine. Another thing is that now we're in the dry season, so rain would wash away this sticky substance. And so now they're very sticky, very potent, and they don't plant this in the rainy season, they plant these, well, al final de la temporada lluviosa, los siembras, no?
No.
No, they only
En el
plant these.
periodo seco del año.
Yeah, so this is only a dry season variant, and these have been growing for 2 months, so they're quite big.
Vivo la puya tabac.
His son's just running around climbing trees. And I asked him, Chino, that was you when you were a kid? He's like, yep, I was exactly that way. That was you, right? How many years ago? 31 years ago, this was you running around. Okay, so these are the tobacco leaves drying. These are here for 3 months. These have been here for a month. So then we come over here, we can see more. Look at the amount, all with old material. This is what it was like to be part of the Spanish Empire. It's like the same still. And then you put it in this big package with a special juice infusion. I forgot what he called it. And it's another 4 months here. And so that's his own product. 10% of what he cultivates, he keeps and sells to people like me or other people around town. And he doesn't give it a brand. He can't give it a brand, but basically, you know, they're just pure Cuban tobacco, pure Cuban cigarros.
En estos momentos no es el primer punto de la economía en Cuba, pero hace 60, 70 años atrás el tabaco era el primer renglón económico de Cuba. Estaba tabaco, azúcar y café. Eran los 3 renglones fundamentales de la economía de Cuba. Hoy es remesa, turismo y tabaco.
¿Y azúcar?
No.
Azúcar nulo.
No, en Cuba ya hoy no se produce ni azúcar, amigo. El gobierno va a fermentar su 90% con químicas y conservantes, porque las producciones de los gobiernos son muchas, ¿ok? ¿Qué va a hacer? Le va a alargar vidas a los habanos. Porque, por ejemplo, Cuba puede producir por año millones. Ahora, ¿en qué tiempo va a vender millones? Puede ser en un margen de 10 años, 3 años, 2 años.
And then he has the third product, which is his rum, guayabita, which is a
Guayabita
fruit,
del Pinar.
which is a fruit that grows in Pinar del Rio. So we have the little fruit there. All of it or little sorbitos?
A ver, cuando vayas a beberlo, primeramente sientes el aroma y después lo bebes poquito a poco, porque tú lo que vas a hacer es catar.
Sí, sorbito,
Este,
un sorbito.
un sorbito.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh. Yeah, it's really sweet on the tongue and a nice little light burn in the throat.
Ya.
Light, ligero,
Ya.
suavemente.
Besame.
Okay, bien. We're gonna try the coffee as well that we saw earlier. Wow. I've never tasted coffee like this. It's bitter, amargo, ¿no?
Ya.
Pero está bien, está bien.
Pero tú normalmente bebes el café con azúcar o sin azúcar.
Sin azúcar. Es que yo saboreo el café negro. ¿Está bien?
Entonces, mira, los puros siempre van a llevar un lado cerrado.
Yep.
¿Ok? Este lado es el que va hacia la boca. ¿Qué se le hace? Se le pone la miel, te pintan los labios como la chica antes de ir a la fiesta y después sostienes el puro con los dientes.
Well, I know what I'm paying my guy with the horses, but I don't know how much this is gonna cost. I'm not gonna buy a bottle of rum, but I would like to buy a cigar. And if it costs more than in Havana, that's okay because he's giving me an educational experience. Epa! This is the honey. And remember earlier we saw in the caves the beehives where the honey comes from. See how you use this? These kind of look like brass knuckles.
Inside the cigar and cut. Tumba.
Oh. He's like el tigre de Winnie the Pooh, el osito.
Ah, ya, sí.
He's like Tiger.
Vamos a poner el puro aquí. El puro se va a mojar con un poquito de miel, solamente un poquito, porque si no después un caramelo. Y vamos a hacer esto. Así, ¿ok? Y después vamos a sostener el puro con los dientes de esta forma. Así, ¿ok? Vamos a ponerle fuego. Y ahora, para fumar un puro, no se inhala. ¿Ok? Ahora, si lo tragas, ¿qué puede pasar? Te puedes marear. ¿Ok? Por esa razón, nosotros recomendamos que no los inhalen. Para fumar un puro no tiene que ser solamente en un momento. Lo puedes fumar en 2, 3, 4 momentos, pero en el mismo día. ¿Ok? Para fumar un puro, se gira, se rota, para que el fuego sea de forma circular. ¿Ok? Ahora, vamos a fumar el purito.
Let's go. I have to say, the honey, it has a nice touch, and the cigar is damn good. I remember trying Swisher Sweets when I was like 18. I was like disgusted, and ever since then I've never enjoyed a cigar. I've tried a few more, but you know, crappy cigars, but está buenísima, eh? Está buena.
Disfrútalo. Y ahora vamos a rolar un puro.
Now we're gonna learn how to roll one. Now I get it. Now I get why people like these.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
So we have all these types here. These big fat ones are called coibas, and this one was aged for I think 4 or 5 years. It's 25 euros. So people buy boxes and bring them with them. Now, from what I understand, if they have a brand, like a government brand, they can't go into the United States, but I think these could, because they're not branded. Anyways, I'm gonna buy one of these, which is the one I smoked, which I liked, and one of the medium coibas. So I think this one's like 7 euros, this one's 15. So yeah, but I think it's a good, well worth price, no matter how much you pay for these, because of the experience you get here at the farm versus going to the place in Havana where the scammers try to bring you, as you've probably seen in videos, or maybe you're watching this and it's happened to you. This is a much better experience, and you should come to Vinales with my guide here. He'll bring you here and you'll get the full-on experience like I did. So I bought 2 cigars, a big one and a small one. One was 15, one was 12, plus the drink was $2. And so, you know, that was an hour work. So you gotta think, if the farmers here or a worker in Cuba is making, with their government salary, $20 a month, that's a good day. And of course, you can imagine if some guy from Florida comes who's on vacation, he wants to buy a whole box and he makes $100, that's a really good day. And again, the experience, this is what you're paying for, the experience. They're not asking for money. They're giving you a true educational, authentic experience right here in Cuba. Look at this house with these views. Oh, Jesus. Que vistazos. Oye, look at that. Still tilling. Epa! We're back in the town, and all ages here ride bikes, horses, it's mode of transport. You'll see people in their 80s riding bikes still to get home. This would be an example of a tourist house. What a good boy, hey? You've been a good boy. What a beautiful animal. Beautiful animal horses. So we finished our like 4 or 5 hour tour. We saw so many things that I only dreamt of seeing in my life. And what I can say about this tour and these people is that they maintain 100% authenticity. He has absolute patience, and not one moment am I feeling rushed. Do I feel like it's lacking authenticity or he's being disingenuine? No, this is some of the best ecotourism I've ever had. There's a real connection with the animals, with the nature, with the local culture, with the essence of the rural Cuban, also known as the guajiro. So I'm gonna put his description, his WhatsApp number, his Facebook, all that stuff in the description. If you come here, I endorse him 100%. And because in Cuba, that's how things work, mouth to mouth. You shouldn't reserve some things online, some things yes, but this is all about word of mouth and the trust of the people and the safety of the Cuban culture. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Eres un crack.
Guajiro para siempre, ¿entiendes? Me siento muy feliz de ser un guajiro y poder de ofrecer mi servicio a personas que visiten a Vinales.
Venga.
De corazón.
De corazón. Un abrazo, ¿vale? We'll see you guys in the next video from the countryside of Cuba. Hasta luego.